It is 9 o'clock on Monday, July the 10th, 2017. And I call the Potter County Commissioners to order. Today we have Kevin Decker from Post Memphis who will do the invocation. So please stand.
Thanks for having me back today. Last time I was here, I set all the fire alarms off.
Oh, yeah, you did. That's right. I'll do that.
Yeah. Let's pray. We thank you, God, for this day, and we thank you for this commission's report, for the blessing of having strong leaders who seek you and your will in their decisions. We pray for your continued guidance in all matters in this meeting today. We pray that your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We pray for Potter County to be a haven of blessing and a place of peace for all who live here. We also pray for your protection over all our law enforcement officers and first responders. We pray for the families of officers around the country who have been recently killed. Please comfort them in their time of grief. Let the peace of Christ rule in the hearts of all gathered here today as each item on the agenda is presented. Help us to surrender self-interest in exchange for your master plan and direction. May all we do glorify your holy name. We pray these things in the name of Jesus for his sake. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, before we get started today, this is not on the agenda. Elizabeth Grisham is here from the Family Consumer Services Association of the Extension Agent. She wants to introduce a couple. Did you have both of you?
I apologize, Judge Jennifer Nickel.
Okay.
Training, they sent her to Houston, so I'll
Okay.
say a little bit about her
Okay.
as well.
She just wants to, we can't take any action, she just wanted to introduce them.
Thank you so much for allowing us to be here, Judge and Commissioners. I would like to introduce Peyton Cottle. Peyton is the new BLT Extension Assistant. Peyton is a May graduate of WT with a bachelor's in social work. And for those of you who don't know, BLT is not bacon, lettuce, and tomato. It is a Better Living for Texans program. And the BLT program, we're excited to have this position in Potter. It's long overdue. The position is a cooperative effort between, of course, Texas A&M AgriLife, Health and Human Services, and USDA. So Peyton will be teaching nutrition education to limited resource families in Potter County. And so we're excited to have her here. Of course, I know she's not a county employee, but we appreciate your support in letting her be housed here in our office. So she's excited to reach out. And then as Judge mentioned, Jennifer Nickel, we recently hired her as the Prairie View Cooperative Extension position. And so she will also be reaching out to limited resource families. She is training in Houston all week, so she was not able to be here. So we appreciate it. Thank
Okay,
you.
well, thank you, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you so much.
All right, number one, recognition of minutes, to recognize minutes from the June 26, 2017 Potter County Commissioners Court meeting. Any questions for changes? None? So recognized. Vouchers, to consider and act upon the approval of the payment of vouchers processed by the County Auditor's Office for the period of June 21, 2017 through July 5, 2017. Check numbers 175,513 through 175,708, and wire transfers 919 through 924 in the amount of $2,025,603.26.
I move that we approve the vouchers noted by the county clerk for checks 175,513 to 175,708 and wire number 919 for
Second.
Second.
I do have a question, Judge Attorney. This may be a question for Brandon, page 18 of 33, looks like wire number 923, airfare, airfare to Chicago, looks like for Jeff. Was just interested to know what training was in Chicago.
That was for the Motorola radio staging.
Okay, and does that training get allocated to those bonds that we took out for that, or is that coming from general operating?
It currently is coming from the individual department.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Have a motion and a second, all in favor, raise your hand. 5-0. Thank you. Research report, to recognize the research fund report. Okay, is there anything changes, changes on here? No, ma'am, nothing, okay, so recognized. Number 4, quarterly budget comparison, to recognize the third quarter comparison report for FY16, FY17.
I do have a couple of questions if I may, Judge. All right, there's a few carries, so I'm sorry. Page 8, it looks like the first one, it falls into the county auditor department. And we may have talked about this in Q1, so if we did, please forgive me. It looks like on the contract services, that increase of 43,000 this year. Will you remind me what that is?
We moved all of the software maintenance from the IT budget to the individual departments.
And then page 14. Looks like Justice of the Peace 1, and I think I saw a similar theme under contract services. 17,000 increase.
It's the same thing.
Same thing, IT, okay, that may be what's happening across the board. The district attorney's office, page 15 at the bottom, I saw a significant increase, about 206,000 for this time compared to last year, just apples to apples. It looks like it's across the board. I certainly don't really look too much at the salary line item because I know that has to do with COLA and things of that nature, but education, increased contract services, an increase of 36,000, general operating, et cetera. Is there something unique in that department that you're aware of?
But keep in mind that he did get 2 new employees
Okay.
this fiscal year, so that makes up the bulk of it. And again, the software maintenance is moved into this as well.
Page 17, looks like the sheriff under enforcement, and then the page to follow, 18, the detention center, a similar theme compared to the district attorney's office. I think adding that and the detention center, I see $400,000 increase.
A lot of, there's of course, the software maintenance again. And I believe their salary increase is mostly in overtime, but I think we have a lot of overtime this year. I don't think we're getting anything else unusual.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Anything else?
I think it's something I brought up the last time, but what are we gonna do with public service? Because we're gonna be out of money before the end of the year. Go ahead.
Keep in mind that we do pay a lot of that, it's a one-time payment, so we pay it the first of the year, it puts it nearly to the end of its budget.
No, but isn't this where the cremation's gonna, public service?
It's part of it, but it's also where our tiers payment comes from, where our emergency management payments that happen.
Okay. So that's still recognized. Number 5, movie nights on the courthouse lawn. To consider enacting on a request from ABC 7 and Center City, Amarillo, for use of the courthouse grounds for 2 family movie nights in August. Beth Duke.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners, and thank you, Potter County. We love playing on your lawn. We love playing on your lawn. We have had a fabulous 23rd season of Hunting on the Square. We're just about halfway through. And in many communities, they do a free admission family movie night. And Channel 7 approached Center City and said that they would like to do it. And we have wanted to do it for many years, but kind of pushed it back because it can be expensive. Someone has to sponsor the projector, the screen, and even the movie rights, because you can't just go, get a DVD and play it for everyone. So Channel 7 approached us because the general manager had done this in other communities. And what we are proposing is that we would show the movies here on the beautiful Potter County lawn. Channel 7 would come and do their newscast probably at 5 and then at 6. And then until it gets dark, we would have young people dance groups or maybe youth choirs entertain, kind of keep things going. And then the movie would start as soon as it got dark enough. And of course, we would rent portable restroom facilities. We would anticipate hiring a minimum of 2 Potter County deputies. We do not generally for high noon because that is a daytime event and everybody's here, but we would anticipate doing that in the evening. For food and concessions, they are proposing food trucks that would just park on the street, nothing on the lawn. Mine.
Mike's right, just
I know, he's taking notes, he's got yours. But we think it'd be fun, people bring their blankets, their chairs, and their kids. It would be a family movie, so that wherever you were downtown and you saw it, it would be nothing offensive. I don't know that it would be Disney because they have some special requirements about when those are shown and who they compete with, but it would definitely be a family G-rated thing, and be free. We're trying to offer many things as we can for free, just to bring the community together.
In consideration of Mike, I'm not sure he's probably already taken some notes on that. You mentioned some dance groups.
Yes.
Is that something that would have a stage apparatus already set up for that?
I think we could just use the concrete pad in front of the steps that's already there, like we do for high noon. I wouldn't rent a stage or put something on the grass. I would just use the existing concrete pad. Some dance groups like to bring their own cushion that they put over your concrete pad, that it wouldn't be on the grass.
How many events are you planning?
This would be 2. It would be the first 2 Thursday nights in August, kind of as a back to school. AISD starts kind of early this year, August 16th. So we're thinking if we did it the 2nd and the 9th, then they wouldn't be school nights.
Consider rain out?
Oh, I don't consider rain out. You know me, rain or shine, we figure it out.
Then you're either wet blanket.
I move that we allow the ABC 7 and Center City Amarillo to use the courthouse lawn for 2 family movie nights in August.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you.
Motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. 5-0.
Thank you so much, and we respect the court, we respect the lawn, and we're afraid of Mike, so we'll.
We all, your best piece to get through this usual thing with Shannon to sign the papers.
That's right, the insurance and the deposit. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Betty, appreciate you. Okay, proposed interlocal agreement to consider and act upon a proposal for the interlocal cost sharing agreement with CACD from Logan Department of Internet Firewall Protection. Is Jason, you here? Yes. Okay, you don't have to come up if you don't want to.
Okay.
We'll just see what they want to say. This is what we tossed this around a little bit. Any more thoughts, anybody?
Anything you need to, I'm trying to go back and my minutes on one particular question.
This was a firewall, that they're proposing that we help pay the maintenance on, or we pay the maintenance on, which is what, $3,000. And I talked to Terry in the meantime. At first I was against it because most of their computers are just CSCD. But Terry said that we supply computers, they supply some backup or whatever. So he said, we really do need y'all to help with this. And so I'm with it now. I'm okay with it. Carrie, did I explain that correctly? Or is there something else?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, Jason, come on
Yeah,
up.
explain this again.
No, there was a meeting that was supposed to take place about the departments working together and how to potentially use equipment that we already had, and make sure we're not duplicating, because we kind of operate in 2 different bubbles today.
something like, yeah, I mean, this basically will just protect everybody that goes through our firewall. It's a 5-year maintenance agreement. Our firewall will sit out there to keep, basically secure the network for the judges and the staff that utilize it today.
So Jason, maybe Brandon, you'll have to help me. How is that different than the firewall and the infrastructure that the county has already? Like, I'm trying to wrestle with why we can't use existing technology. We have pretty sophisticated existing technology, and why we need to purchase another one. Is it because it's CSCD and we operate separately? I'm trying to understand that. Maybe Brandon, you can help me.
Yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, it's possible to piggyback off that same line, but they've always kind of been a separate entity.
So we could use existing infrastructure if
I think it's
we
possible, yeah.
work together.
So what's the, I guess, the caveat here is that we haven't done this in the past. We've been doing this historically separate. So we got used to doing it that way. But we have the technology in order to consolidate both of these things, correct?
Currently right now, there is a firewall in place with the older outdated firewall. Basically, us and juvenile probation have been picking up that piece, and the courts utilize our firewall as well for email traffic and getting to Randall County, things like that.
So what's the pluses here in doing it the way that you're proposing?
Basically secure the networks when they get back in, as far as coming in through us, because Randall County utilizes our T1 line, it goes back and forth, basically ties into the network. They get up here, clear up to the sheriff's office, AG's office, city. They also route clear down, anybody going up here, bounces down through there, get to Randall County sheriffs. So it's basically just upgrading and securing it.
The Commissioner, my point was, we have existing infrastructure to do that in the county now. And so again, our purchases obviously are on the taxpayer dollar, so we have existing infrastructure.
So if that being the case, Judge helping out here, you said now you're in favor of it,
I am.
I mentioned you
It's
weren't.
because we have 7 judges that use that, and they're not on the county, they're with you guys. They're our judges, but they're on your system, and we need to support that firewall, they're not supporting ours.
But they could be, they just never have been.
Right. And that's not ever gonna happen.
We talked about last time we met on this issue, that we were gonna have a discussion.
I've had that discussion, I'm not gonna have it again, I've had that discussion, it's not gonna ever happen.
So, I guess, help me out here as far as, if we have the technology available now, we're confident in that technology, that we can encompass that join together without going to a separate.
I know what you're saying.
So, help me out as far as.
The problem is,
Explaining,
CSCD, and I'm not pointing fingers, it seems like I am, and I'm not. CSCD and our technical people will not work together.
will not, that's the caveat, that's will not.
They won't. We're not allowed on their program, we're not allowed on ours.
Why?
There's a reason. I don't know what it is.
And that's where I wrestle, Commissioner, because again, we are stewards of the taxpayer dollar. So if the taxpayer were standing up here saying, Commissioners, please explain why you're spending my money this way versus this way, we can't articulate that. So I certainly, Judge, I respect your discernment.
Yeah, but so do you want the 7 judges to not be protected from the
Oh, no,
firewall?
absolutely not. I would advocate that they use our existing infrastructure.
I think that's a question that was driven from a special need to answer that question, why, rather than will not.
Do I have a motion? A motion?
I move that we approve the proposed interlocal agreement to cost share with CSCD for multi-departmental internet firewall protection.
I'll second that. A motion and a second, all in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? 2, 3.
And basically, let me, put this on record that I'm not against what, we certainly need to afford the judges the usage of that file in that system, but it seems to me we would be able to answer the question why we cannot, if the technology is there, while we're having a job.
The technology is there, but basically the networks are logically laid out totally different. We do not separate connections than the county does. None of that traffic runs back through the county per se. I mean, they're on the county's network, but all that is routed via the switches over to our department where they go out. So it's, the technology's there, but as far as the paths to do it, they're totally separate. And we're paying for totally separate,
So we can't do
the way it's currently laid out.
Well, I recommend that the two entities get together and work this
it.
thing
That's what we
out.
do.
Doesn't make any sense not to.
Thanks, Jason. Okay, number 7, IT Director, to receive and act upon committee recommendation to fill the position of Director, Department of Information Technology. The committee met a couple of times. We interviewed 4 very, very impressive candidates. And then we narrowed it down to 2, the top 2, and we interviewed them. And we came along an unanimous decision, which will be approved hopefully by the court today, that we name Brandon Purington as the new IT Director. So, any questions? Congratulations. Okay, we're gonna vote. Yeah, we're gonna vote. So it was a unanimous decision, and so I'll fill out this. Just something we need to do. I make a motion that we appoint Brandon to fill the spot for IT Director.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. 5-0. Congratulations. Congratulations. I think we made a wise decision.
Pressure is on.
Okay, number 8, disposition of seized vehicle to recognize transfer of ownership of the 2011 Nissan Xterra automobile to the Potter County Sheriff pursuant to a judgment on forfeiture signed by the 320th District Court on May 22nd, 17, and cause number 106158-D. Hi.
Morning.
Morning. I'm scared of you. You just appeared there.
Like that. This vehicle that was seized up on our fleet last year, we want to use it for our fleet.
Does it add to the fleet or replace?
Well, every year we're asked to do more or less. This year, I think we're putting the 3 vehicles. I'm gonna suggest that we get a bigger vehicle, but also we keep in mind that we need to do that we have, because we still have duties to do the past before. And so I will suggest this year that we do get rid of one, but please keep that in mind. That we're only asking for 3 vehicles this year, because we want to.
How many miles on this Xterra?
There's 68, we again, we're working on our food and stop, the drugs in it, so we can utilize it.
So you're saying this will add to the fleet, but what we're expecting during budget cycle, you have 3 proposed vehicles that you're gonna move that request down to 2. Did I hear that correctly? No.
I shouldn't even brought that up.
Okay. You said budget, and I started listening in a whole different way.
Well, I also said that every year we're asked to do more with less, so I ask you to keep
I
that in
agree with
mind.
that. I'm gonna pull some numbers, more with less, okay.
So, I just said we're gonna ask for 3 vehicles, I believe, this is what the sheriff's gonna suggest.
Okay.
We received this year, said typically we get 8. And so, there is, I told you, there is a vehicle that I'm going to ask the sheriff to get rid of.
Okay.
And so, with that being said, we're asking for this vehicle to be accepted in the fleet.
Okay.
And now, visit with him at a later date, and see if we can get rid of the vehicle. The vehicle we get rid of has over 100,000 miles. It's a Nissan too. It was also a seizure vehicle. And so, that's what we're saying.
The only thing that we have authority over is to recognize this as a new vehicle in the fleet, not to accept it or anything like that, because it's part of the forfeiture thing. Is that right? Yes.
So do we need to take action on it?
Yes, because I need to add it to the
Okay,
insurance.
okay. It just says to recognize the transfer. Okay, I need a motion.
I move that we recognize the transfer of ownership of a 2011 Nissan Sierra automobile to Putnam County Sheriff's pursuant to a judgment of forfeiture signed by the Putnam District Court on 5/22/17, case cause number 106.58-D.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Five. Thank you.
I want that to be.
Number 9, donation of outdoor cooker. To consider and act upon acceptance of a proposed donation of an outdoor cooker. Sebastian, I already asked you the question. Do you have time to cook out there?
Well, every once in a while, let me, when we do, I just keep it hamburger. I cleared with Tad to make sure everything's on the up and up, and, Darryl, he's just a nice guy, he appreciates that, he wants to donate it to the county or Road Bridge. It's a nice cooker. That's basically it.
So the commissioners get invited when you have.
I'm invited to
Just-
but I've
just
had
by
no
the
shows so many times.
Might influence the vote. It could influence the vote.
Yeah.
They couldn't. Don't go on the
All right, I guess that is motion.
I will do it.
Second.
I like how you make those motions. I will do accept.
That's good enough.
And nothing more Texas than that. Okay. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand.
And a few words.
Those? Okay.
And a few words.
There you go. Yes. Number 10, fire and rescue. To consider and act upon an agreement with Bushland Mercantile for temporary housing, fire and rescue equipment at the Bushland Mercantile facility. Hello, Richard.
Hello.
Is the new guy?
We have a issue fixing to happen in Bushland where, the bridge construction is going to completely shut down the passage from the north side to the south side of Bushland. And, looking at the map that TxDOT has drawn for the detour, it is gonna add about 30 minutes to a response, and that's not counting traffic during the school time. So what we have done is we've reached out to several places out there, and the Bushland Mercantile has worked with us to find a storage building we can borrow to put 1 to 2 trucks in at different times to keep an apparatus on the south side and an apparatus on the north side of the highway.
Are they donating this space?
Basically, we're just gonna clean out a corner of their shop and use it. They'll still use it, we'll still use it, and yeah, they're allowing us to use it, free of cost.
That's very nice. This is from that crash that happened.
Yes, it is.
Until how long do we anticipate using this?
Right now, we're kind of in a wondering phase because we've heard everything from 45 to 60 days construction to 18 months. So in doing that, the building that we're looking at housing our equipment in has no electricity, has no heat. So come winter time, we will need to make different arrangements if the bridge is still closed.
Okay.
We're hoping that by the time we get freezing weather, the weather or the construction will at least allow us to cross back and forth so we can get our trucks put back in the station.
I make a motion that we approve the agreement with Bushland Mercantile for temporary housing and fire and rescue equipment.
So
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Commissioner Church does that, you're watching, he's afraid.
you're gonna catch a lot of hair.
I know we are, but sometimes you have to aggravate the community to protect them. And I don't know.
He doesn't.
Thank you.
That's called fight fire with fire.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, number 11, local government corporation to, update on the local government corporation, Commissioner.
This will be a quick update, Judge. Every time we meet, I just like to put an agenda item on. We actually met, June 26th. I think it was a court date, but we met right after. So I put this on as a placeholder. A couple of just high-level things. Obviously, everyone is now aware of the big announcement coming to Amarillo. But I did want to make sure that the court was aware that we will have a scheduled tour of the hotel coming up. We don't have a date or anything yet, but once we get that, I'll certainly make sure everybody is invited to that. And then the big July 4th events or July 1st events that happened over that weekend. I'm sure everybody saw that throughout the community, but that was significant for the parking garage itself. It was the first paid parking event. And so I think that's important for this court to know because of the bond that was taken out. That is a taxable bond that was taken out on that parking garage. I still have open questions with LGC, and I'm working with Bob Cowell and the appraisal district to see how much of that parking garage is taxable. That matters to us because especially in 2036 when the tiers expires, that's when the county will be made whole for being a partner in this for 30 years. That's something I continue to watch. The amount of parking and how much is gonna be charged per day, that is a little fluid. There was some recommendations made to the city council to be able to support the July 1st event. But as you know, maybe you've been reading in the paper around parking as a whole, that is tied to the agreement with the ball team coming to Amarillo. So there continues to be dialogue around that. So I just wanted to make sure and bring everybody up to speed. And then if you'll just watch your calendars and I'll make sure and let you know whenever there is the tour. I know that Judge Tanner, I don't want to put you on the spot. Maybe you can give an update on the tour. The employees have been taking a tour of the parking garage because we do expect that to be open early August. So when we have access to our spots. Any feedback from employees?
I've gotten a lot of people were very pleased with it. They were happy that they went to look at it and they're okay with parking there. Some are still firm that they will park wherever they want. And I can't do anything about that. That will be up to the elected official to monitor that. But for the most part, everybody was really happy with what they saw. And I think if you haven't seen it, you need to go look at it, even if you're not gonna park there, just to go look at it. It's pretty cool, I think. Have you seen it, Wade? It is so good. It's really good. Roomy, spacious, lights everywhere. It's good.
Commissioner Vaughn, I know you took a tour up there. Any feedback you want to give on? That's interesting for us at the county, right? That was our city-county partnership. Any?
I concur with the judge. I think it's a win-win. I don't want to speak out of turn from the department heads or elected officials. Other than the distance is long, I really can't see why it would not be that in using that facility.
No wonder time maybe they'll change their mind.
Well, it's just about an extra 3 minutes each way, right, Julie? We timed it.
You timed it?
It's about 5 if you do it legally.
Yeah, we didn't jaywalk, we crossed against the light.
No.
There's no traffic, so why not? But it's, okay, so 5 minutes extra, but that's just for people.
That's with you earlier.
So that's for y'all, Carolina, because it's just right across the street.
Very well lit, security, the elevators are conducive to where we have the parking for things.
Yeah, I think we need to have a Christmas party on the roof. There you go.
Well, just a few last minute logistics that we're working on, and so we've been working with Kay, and certainly thank you to Judge Tanner and Mike who have been instrumental in kind of getting this agreement on paper off the ground, and Jerry with the city. But a few logistics we're ironing out in terms of getting the actual cards, getting them to the departments because it will be an electronic card. Our hours are 7:30 A to 5:30 P. So that card will, kind of open the gate, if you will, to get in. So just be expecting some communication on that.
All right, thank you. Number 12, equipment purchase to consider and act upon purchasing Cisco equipment in the amount of $448,657 from CDWG, utilizing contract number DIR TSO 2542. Funds are budgeted. Okay.
So this is just the equipment that we spoke about in the last court, the 45 switches to replace the county's infrastructure, plus some of the equipment that we're going to need for the LAC building.
And this is funds budgeted, but wasn't this coming from contingency? Was this the one?
Part of it is, but part of it is bonds on the construction.
Okay.
Okay, so you're doing it now instead of the dates.
Yeah, we wanna do it before, Cisco's fiscal year ends, cause the discounts are better.
They gave us a cut rate on it because
Make a motion that we approve purchasing Cisco equipment in the amount of $448,657 from CDWG, utilizing contract DIR TSO 2542.
Okay.
And I heard that.
I have a motion, and a second, all in favor, raise your right hand. 5-0, thank you. Employment items to consider and act upon the following employment items. Road and Bridge resignation of Dexter Beach as maintenance tech effective 2026. Transfer of Lawrence Talk from seasonal to full-time as a replacement for Dexter Beach effective 2/01. And the hiring of Roy Rincon as seasonal maintenance tech as a replacement for Lawrence Talk effective July 3rd, 2017. No one voted on the Road and Bridge. All of them, okay. Facilities maintenance, resignation of Quentin Sean Stewart as groundskeeper, effective June 30, 2017. And the hiring of Jason Rick Darlin as mechanic technician 2 as a replacement for Nathan Moore, effective July 16, 2017.
I move we accept the
Okay.
employment items as
Yes, we have a correction on item number 1 under Road and Bridge that should read the discharge of Dexter Beach. And the original status change form will need to be corrected and initialed by second.
Okay. Okay.
I move that we accept the employment items.
Second?
Okay. Motion and a second, all in favor, raise your hand. 5-0, thank you. Mike, Otter County projects.
Brandon, this stuff, right?
Good morning.
Well,
The Santa Fe elevator modernization, we thought we were nearing completion, should have already been complete with it. The COP, the panel that goes inside the car, ThyssenKrupp had received it the other day. They delivered it damaged, colors, it goes back, so we probably could look at another 4 to 5 months, but we're still holding on to $89,000 for money to do it.
Like the shipping location.
Company called CJ Anderson, probably off the East Coast somewhere. They're a specialty company that makes these cast panels, you know, where you put inside the car. It's just a specialty company. It was damaged.
So do they have to, do they make those parts after the request that need, I'm trying to get a picture of why it's taking that long, unless they're going by wagon trains.
It's just the company, this is only one piece out of many pieces they can make for people all over the world. They have to set the casting material to cast it, color it. We're just one piece out of probably thousands. It's taking so long. County Courthouse, the millwork warranty claims, we had our pre-construction meeting last Thursday. Nicholas is not here this morning, but he'll be running that project. We've got everything set up with all the departments. Hopefully between now and possibly the end of next month. Santa Fe Building Automation, this was a project you approved last year at budget time. We are currently in the process of getting the company out of Lubbock contacted with private programs to come and get programs, and that should be completed by the end of August. Santa Fe Terracotta Project, this was a project you approved a few years ago. We're in our 1-year warranty period. I have found damage on top of the building. Some of the work is done on the restoration of the terracotta. I've contacted Phoenix One, and we've got it scheduled for this October for the architects to be back. They owe us an 11th month inspection, so I then will inspect it with the contractor and try to get everything done. Santa Fe 11th floor auditorium lighting project. This was another one that you approved your budget for this year. It has been completed. The Santa Fe fire alarm. This was another project you had approved for this budget year. It's been completed. County Courthouse emergency flood project for January.
Quick question, the Santa Fe Auditorium, I remember the flooring
that'll come in this, here's presented budget.
Okay, I thought there was something you were getting done this current fiscal year from funds.
We had looked to do that, but we've had to utilize a lot of our funds for other things.
Okay.
I'll work it out. If we can get it done between now and the end of the fiscal year, I'd like to do it again before the events happen.
Okay, thank you.
The emergency flood project, like I said, whenever I was told that it was finished, 4 items, or nearly finished, 4 items was remaining, we went on the 4 pages, still needed to be done. Currently, right now, the only contractor that is lacking work, we have not received an invoice from them, is lacking mooring. The electrical floor receptacles they put on the second floor, they put on the wrong ones, so we'll have them come back and recorrect that. Other than that, Vicky's been working with our insurance adjuster, Shay Williams, to go through all of the invoices to make sure everything's running line with that. Would you like to see anything?
No, like I said, Blackman Mooring, we don't know exactly how that process works, but, not recommended from the purchasing at this moment to maybe do it if something happens again. It's just not been a, say it like, it's not been.
We've had a bad relationship here. The next project, I'm gonna kind of take you through the Potter County Memorial Baseball Center.
Why are we talking about this now?
Project. This is the first year, to my understanding, since 1957, they've never been a team in the stadium during the summertime that local baseball would have. It's a true sign right now of what's going on, and nobody being there. What I'm gonna address with you today is the ownership of property. There's a lot of items out there that belong to other people. My staff, I've had them go through, even though you have a lease on the stadium, saying just saying to utilize the stadium, we have went through, replaced every lot except one of the stadium. There's so much property out there that I cannot tell you who it belongs to, or what it is. We've had many people through the past call us and say, that's mine, I'm gonna go get it. And I know different because of the years that it's been there. And y'all may know who some of this property belongs to. I'm gonna talk to you about the vandalism at the stadium. It's getting worse every day. The lack of maintenance is truly something you can see when you walk out there and you look at it. Plus some damage that has occurred to the stadium due to the lack of Potter County not moving forth on some issues. The first picture you see right here, this is the lower level when you walk into the stadium. This is to the right. These are some of the large grills that's down there within the stadium. I'm not for sure. I believe Commissioner Kelly knew of someone that said that they may own these. Is that correct? Or
It's a man out of Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name. I want to say Karachi, something like that.
So there's one picture.
Is that right? Something close? It's a Chicago name.
Here's
Here's
the next picture. So there's some high dollar equipment right there. So if there's any way that whomever knows to get a hold of these people, get them to come out and get this stuff out, because it could get stolen out here while I'm fixing to show you that it has been happening. That stuff could walk off. This right here is your walk-in coolers. This right here, we have went through and secured all of them. This right here is liquor and alcohol that we have found in there, and it's been open to the public or whomever would have chose to go out there and have a good time. There's not much of it, but it's still there. There are signs of young kids that's been breaking into this stadium from what we have found. That right.
Why would we just not throw that away then?
I mean, we can.
I mean, especially like liquor, and if you're saying, I mean, we can just address that quickly, right? We can just throw that all away. Okay.
Yeah. Have a little party first, then throw it away.
Yeah, that's what Chris.
But there's like I said, not much of it.
I want that mayonnaise, so don't throw that out.
This right here belongs to one of the vending companies, Coca-Cola, or somebody. These are their bottles. I'm gonna probably say these have been sitting there since the days of Mark Lee. So they just been there, nobody's coming out. There's a lot of other vending machine equipment that belongs to these people that really need to come and take. Budweiser's another one. There's a lot of their, or some of their stuff still out there as well.
So have we put out any type of,
I just now made this report, so I'm just making it clear where these are the things that I wanted to bring to y'all that we need to start addressing to try to. San Jacinto went through it. It wasn't green and didn't grow. Those guys were big girls. They cleaned that stadium up tremendously.
They couldn't get to some of these.
They could not get to
areas.
some of this stuff because it was secure. This right here is your first baseline east concession stand, the big long one that Ms. Tucker said she put a roof on, but never did. This was the one that has the 5 or 6 windows. It's right behind first baseline. Somebody's went through and kicked the doors in. I've had our staff go through here within the last week. We just boarded the thing up. There shouldn't be any reason that anybody would need to be in that area. We have done a lot of work out there. Out of the 10,000 that y'all set aside, we've used quite a bit, so we're using more of that in order to secure this stadium. This right here is on the east side of this stadium. Commissioner Padilla, Judge Tanner, I mentioned to you the weeds. This is only a few of them I'm going to show you. This right here is another liability that we noticed. You got your deep freezes out there. That's liability for somebody, a kid to get inside those things. Those things need to be thrown away, cleaned up, gotten rid of. This is the food that's inside of it. It smells like something else.
Jimmy also.
They just left things there, and this is not San Jacinto. This, I'm gonna probably say, is your current person leasing the stadium.
So Mike, I have a question. We know our contract with Southern Independent ends in September. We're very aware, he is very aware. I'm hearing and I'm seeing through some of these pictures, this is around the time every year where we start to get back together and say, give me the list of improvements, and we talk about what counts, what doesn't count to close out his contract. I'm feeling because of this year being the final year, that we probably need to have him on site to do a full closeout kind of transition plan, right?
That's not a bad idea.
To go through and document what's there, what he knows is his, and have something formal like an agreement to transition this stuff out.
With all due respect to him, I imagine he don't know what's in that stadium. He don't
Yeah.
understand that.
Right. So, and that's why I would advocate for him to maybe get on site to do a final year closeout of whatever all of this stuff is. Would you be in support of something like that? He would
Good to
get
go through. I know what was there before he ever got the lease, like those grills and stuff, is not one. This right here, we just need to finish hauling this stuff off, cleaning this place up. That right here is also a liability for a kid getting inside of it.
Is there any way we just remove the doors?
We probably could. The food and stuff still there. Yeah, there's some more of those around back behind there. I can just envision the young kid getting inside there.
Did you leave that food there? Did you take it? Did you throw it out?
I'm not touching it. That was still there. Well, we need some more.
And I can get a copy of these pictures that, okay, I'd like to send that to him.
This right here is looking back at the picnic bench area, the weeds that are coming up within the stadium. This right here is a small building that's on the first baseline down at the east. Mark Lee, whenever he was there, they went through, they constructed this building. I cannot tell you who this equipment right here belongs to. This is looking inside that storage building. The vandalism, somebody has kicked the walk-in door in, the overhead door, they basically tore it off the track. We went back through and put it back on track, but it still can be raised at this point.
I've got a question, a lot of this stuff you said was there during the time Mark Lee was there. Maybe we need to get hold of Mark.
Yeah, this stuff right here I know was the equipment.
Might be able to help us locate them, get a letter to him.
And it may be somebody that, hey, if you advertise for me, I'll bet you more in the equipment or stuff like that. Some more equipment with inside. Those are, I couldn't tell you the number of money counting machines that are all scattered throughout that stadium. Your old ticket booth, I mean, where you purchase your tickets out front, your old office, and what's inside this area right here as well. That is your first baseline batting cage. Weeds, I know that San Jacinto, Mike Floyd has stated they have sprayed some. The weeds, you know, they've already dropped their seeds, they're cropping out there. They're just going to keep coming back. This is going to be a maintenance item. Somebody's going to stay in weekly for the stadium. This right here is looking from the outfield in. You kind of see a few of the weeds starting to come up there. I'm going to take you to probably the worst nightmare of the stadium right now. You can see your lower press box there. Commissioner McGee, you recall when that was being built, and I went through that with them.
That was with Mark, is that right?
Yes. Then you have your upper press box.
And that's shut down now, correct, Mike?
What do you see?
Oh,
It's shut
okay.
down. I'm going to keep taking you a little closer. Look at all your windows up there. Vandalism is occurring. People are just breaking all the windows out.
Is that hail or people?
I would say it's people, because there's chicken wire right now, or hail spring wire coming down in case a foul ball gets hit
Okay.
to where it couldn't come through. You're gonna have to have a pretty good arm to get a ball up there. Okay, this is, before I go back to the stadium, this is a few of the weeds over there off third baseline that, the Mike Gillen and them, they have sprayed, they're starting to die. The size of these weeds, the pump up sprayer is not gonna kill these weeds. You're gonna have to literally spray. Okay, going back to your press box issue. Okay, this right here is gonna take you to the upper press box. Before I go to pictures right here, I would like to remind the court, back May 2013, I presented to you the hail damage projects around Potter County. This was one of them, being your main grandstand stadium and your press box, the upper press box roof on top of this stadium right here. At that time, expected cost then, that was just by the insurance, was $148,431 just to repair the roofs on the stadium. If you recall, probably in 2014-15, I continued to check these conditions. I made various reports to the commissioners court. The roof was still on this structure at that time. You can kind of see to the far left up there, some of the roof membrane hanging off. This right here has been occurring for the last few years. I went back up into the old press box last fall. The roof was pretty well still intact and everything. Now I'm going to take you inside this press box. This right here is a major liability. During the wintertime, the roof is already caved in. It's just deteriorating. You can see all the sheetrock that has fell and went inside there. This was due to what little snow loads we had last year, plus the rains we've had this spring. It's looking back at the north side of the press box. You're looking at your roof structure. What is that? This actually has a built-up roof on top of it. Had Duralast membrane roof we put back on in 1991. Look at the bowing of your structure there. I don't know if you can notice a crack in your roof joists. You see them? Probably another good heavy wind or something, this thing will all be caved in. At that time, your exterior walls eventually are going to start pulling in because you've lost the main roof structure. Your structure is what's helped holding this together, your roof. There's your daylight, all the way through that structure. Oh, it's also a home to pigeons.
So you're trying to say we're not gonna be having a game announcement up there?
True. These three electrical boxes, back when we took possession of the baseball stadium years ago, I went through it and did Sunday Electrical. These electrical panels are on the west wall of the stadium. These are breaker panels. They used to be your old fuse blocks. The panel on your left right there is the panel that takes care of that particular press box. Anything happening up there located down beneath. This right here was a keypad that was on there. We never had the combinations to it. I showed the guys how to get into it the other day. It's actually some pretty good shape. You see the white things on the floor, your votive candles. This is, the metal panel takes care of your grandstand. Any lights up underneath that stadium that is utilized to light it, your concourse lights down below. The panel on the right is the one that takes care of your parking lot lights. Still within the press box. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that topic here in just a few moments. This right here is showing, I'm actually looking out one of the windows. You can see the wire there. Commissioner Delia asked a question about that. Look at your field out there. You're starting to already get the weeds crop up on it. San Jacinto did come and mow that here about a couple of weeks ago. They sent in some of their young guys. They went through and actually mowed it. This is walking down from that press box. Like I say, you have a built-up roof beneath that. This is kind of hard to see this picture, so I'm going to show you this. Look at all those little rings. You can tell the small ring versus a larger ring. These are hail impacts that you've had on this roof since 2012. It's just deteriorated it. You can see the gravel beneath it for your built-up roof. This is the little spiral staircase that you have to go down.
Been in that spiral staircase many times back when I was.
Very small
there.
area.
It was a tight fit.
Very small. Okay, now I'm going down to your newer press box located down beneath. This right here was a keypad that was on there. We've never had the combinations to it. I showed the guys how to get into it the other day. It's actually some pretty good shape. You see the white things on the floor, your votive candles. This is what people have been using to go in there and light up kids or whomever. We have found signs of food, trash. Looks like somebody's not living in there. They're just going in there and having a good time. If you notice, it's all wood structure. These candles, somebody leaves something going, eventually could burn that structure down.
Mike, did you say they left the speakers on?
Yeah.
They're playing music?
Yeah, the speakers,
All the neighbors hear.
people are getting in there, went through, and the way we noticed it, our guys, was they heard a noise. It was a fan right beside the speaker, right beside the PA system. So there's a lot of equipment up here. I cannot tell you who owns this equipment either. Sound system. This was the window, whomever's been getting in there, they would crawl through the window. We were out there, our guys was out there securing the property. A few of San Jacinto's young men come out. One of them knew how to get in there. He went and climbed through the window and turned on the radio or sound system, listened to music the whole time they were mowing. Locked the door, turned around, went back, and secured it. So they was at least kind enough to re-secure that. But that's one way that they've been getting into the state, or into that press box. This right here, washers, dryers, we've just taken them out of the way. What I had our employees do was this year, we've never, since we don't have a team, but every spring we go through, we recharge the domestic water system to make sure it's in good condition out there. We drain it back in the fall. We have went through, right now the system is live, all your restrooms are live. We need to keep the water live in there and constantly, periodically flushing and moving water. If not, your sewer lines in that stadium are going to deteriorate real fast, the less you move water through them. Budweiser, there's one of their machines that's still out there. Vandalism on the outside of the building. This is your second floor women's restroom. I drive by that thing every morning. When I'm heading out to the project just to look around. This right here was broke out probably a few weeks ago. This right here is a room on the west side of the building for y'all that's never really been through the stadium. This room right here has got 350 kVA transformers in it. It's like you grabbing hold of one of those transformer power lines up there up on a power boat. If somebody cuts a lock and gets in here, they're going to die. It is a major issue. We do have a double padlock, but we have found signs where locks after have been cut. Now we're kind of winding back down to it. This right here is looking at the walk-in and drive-through gate on the third baseline, home team side. More of your graffiti. They're starting to tag the stadium out there. We've seen several signs of this throughout the state. So, from the lack of anybody being out there, nobody's watching the stadium, there's not any activity like they have been through years past, your stadium is only going to continue to deteriorate real quick and be vandalized. To go back to your press box issue, at this point, I condemn that upper press box, just the press box. I condemned it. I do not want anybody in there. If you have a contractor, a sublease contract from somebody wants to use those grandstand lights, parking light, or any other light underneath that stadium, I'm going to have to tell you no at this time until the electrical can be relocated to a lower level, a safer level, and that is going to cost some money in order to get that down. We do not need to allow anyone, if they're, even if Gary Elliston was using the stadium, hey, man, the grandstand lights aren't working. Well, I got to climb all the way up to that press box, go in that room right there, and flip a breaker back on. It's a liability on Potter County of even putting anyone in there. I've notified our electrical contractor. I won't even allow him to go.
So, Mike, I have a couple of questions, if I may. So, based on what you're showing us here, there's two things that I'm just wrestling with. One is we foresee a scheduled event there in August, the boots and badges, if I'm calling it correctly.
First I've heard of that.
Yeah, we just found out about this last week, Judge Tanner and I, and so we were asking questions of kind of who authorized this, who participated on the county side. Neither one of us did. I know you haven't as well. And I know Judge Tanner checked with Scott, and they have the authority until September, their contract ends, they being Southern Independent, to lease this out, right, to have other events. So my question to you is, the Boots and Badges event, which I think is in August, should that be occurring at that property with what you're showing us on these pictures?
I'm going to say no because of the situation that's up top up there. You know, I do have the authority to condemn a piece of property, but I need to watch what I say. I'm only doing the upper press box. The rest of the stadium is good. You can still utilize it, but you're not allowed to utilize any electrical that.
I think it's a daytime game.
If it is, that's fine, but if they come up and say, man, we need lights on, it ain't gonna happen.
Okay.
So Boots and Badges, it sounds like some law enforcement and
Yeah, it's the police and
softball game.
Softball game.
They've had
It's
every
a
year.
daytime event, correct?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, but it would be the 100 Club.
The 100 Club, yes, okay.
I don't know whether it's an afternoon, evening. I would think it would be more in toward the evening because of the heat of the day.
So that, I mean, we don't have to decide that today. I'm just making you aware of at least what I know at this moment. And then my second question is, you know, we've had San Jacinto in that property, and it's no big surprise. I mean, this court has to discern what's next with that stadium. I think I personally have been really kind of holding until we knew really what was going to happen downtown. That was the trigger point, was would a baseball team really be coming to Amarillo? And now they indeed are, so I know we have our homework to do. But my question back to you is, San Jacinto was in that. I foresee San Jacinto coming back to us to say, let us use that a little longer. Should we be allowing that to happen based on what you're showing us here?
The best way to answer that. The issue that I presented to you today is strictly the press box up top. Two things that need to happen. Need to get the electrical removed, need to get the structure removed, or that structure to blow off that up there and come down and hit somebody. So to answer your question right now, say nobody needs to utilize the stadium until we get those issues addressed.
That's a big issue though.
It is.
Taking that down is not going to
It's going to be very expensive.
Yeah.
I presented to y'all with the cost of that $100-something thousand. Now, actually at that time, I was going to go through, and the roof structure was still good. It just had the membrane torn off. Was actually going to re-roof it and cover the sides of it, hold it intact. You still had a door to get in, kind of create an envelope up there and stuff. But that is not the situation.
What are the chances that if they do remove that, they have to do it with the crane?
Oh, everything will have to be done by crane and buckets.
sky bucket in order to get you up to that elevation. It is gonna be very costly.
So you're saying we should not entertain a potential contract with San Jacinto moving forward without this being addressed?
Because of the liability?
The liability of anything happening to that structure, even the glass wall.
Yeah, I'm just trying to interpret what you're saying. Okay.
It also sounds like the boots and bags would be objective as well.
Until we decide what to do, either remove it. I'm gonna probably say there's no repairing that roof structure, and you've seen signs of this before, it's not worth putting money into. If you had that portion of it removed, got the electrical brought down to a lower level, if you're gonna go to that trouble, I think I'd go ahead and try to figure out how to put a roof on that entire stadium once again, if you would like to continue to use it. The stadium, the grandstand roof does leak. You know, it's not like you standing out in the rain, but you will have drops of water coming in.
Okay, all right.
Best of all possible scenarios, Mike, and the media's not in, so we can do something off the record.
Yeah, good. You always on the record.
I'm fine. No. But what would be your recommendation of that facility, as long as we've been hashing and debating and going over it, and now that we see the handwriting on the wall that there is a baseball team coming down the road, so the possibilities of utilizing that, and as in past years, is probably much more remote than it ever has been. If we have something that is on our minds moving forward for the future, if not, as the facilities director, what would be your recommendation for that facility?
I've taken each one of you through the stadium. You and I had a long discussion one day out there about, I took you around the outside of the stadium, then we went through the inside. You put 200,000, $500,000 in this stadium, you're not really gonna count it. I mean, there's so much that needs to be done. You're asking my honest opinion, I would turn around and probably get rid of the stadium. I'd give it to the fairgrounds, see if they would face the cost to tear it down, and just get rid of it. It's a big money pit for Potter County. Unless the Potter County Commissioners Court can afford to bring in an architect or somebody to do a full assessment on that stadium, like I've done during the past, and present you with a probable opinion of cost, then you're just going to continue to nickel and dime the stadium. I mean, I hate to see you put good money towards something that's bad.
And I brought that up to sort of generate a thought process from the court as we move forward of any ideas as we look at that, not necessarily in the same vein as it was originally built for, and in the hopes that it may be continuing, but what are on our plan, and certainly this will be discussed in the strategic planning, probably the coup plan. Excuse me.
I do have a couple of thoughts, if I may, Commissioner. And Judge Tanner and I, we've been talking about this for years. I mean, this is the team coming to Amarillo was the formality piece of it, right? But this is something, I've been a member of this court now 6 years. This is something we talk about every year, is what is the future of that stadium? So a couple of things. I'll just give my own opinion. You know, I think the easy answer is, of course, to give it away, right? Easy answer is to give it away. It's someone else's problem. We're done. And I think there's a lot of bruises, rightfully so, that the county has had over the years. And there'd probably be a lot of people in the county that would just take a deep breath and say, that's someone else's problem. And move on, fine, the next day. But I think we're in a very interesting position where the county has an ability to really be a visionary partner for this city. And let me tell you just a couple of my thoughts.
Before you do that,
yeah.
Are we in line? Are we okay with the not need to be going in depth with this? If not, we can certainly discuss this at the
Well, certainly keep me, if I'm saying anything out of course, say, no, that needs to be an agenda item.
Right.
I think we'd probably better come back, we're pretty far afield from updates on the project. And I know y'all aren't intending to take any action, but it might be better to reset it as an agenda item and come back to it.
Well,
Let's discuss this
okay.
in item 15.
I'll give you 2 points, and this does reference the LGC agenda item that I didn't highlight, and so I think I'm certainly in my purview to share that. What is interesting about the agreement between the city and the new ball club coming to Amarillo? So, you know, it was the MPEV, right? It went to the vote, the multi-purpose events venue. When Mike first took me as a tour of the stadium, it was like 12 to 14 million. The infrastructure is great of our stadium, but it would take 12 to 14 million to redo it. That sounded like a lot of money at the time, right? And then we've heard the new ball stadium will be 45 million. The actual stadium will be 40 million.
I was a little off with it.
Little, no. But what is interesting is a part of the agreement, and I'll say this and then wait for an agenda item, is the city is only entitled to use that new stadium for 12 non-commercial events. Why does that matter? Because the city is obviously growing and there is a need for an outdoor something still. They only have that venue for 12 non-commercial events to be able to use that for different avenues. So obviously we've seen Dan quite a bit with the Visitors Council here. We see Beth quite a bit. The city is growing.
Yeah,
but the 12 pieces is what I want to come back to, the 12 events.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'll wait for an agenda item to get some thoughts. Okay. Thanks, Mike.
I have a lot of thoughts on it, but I'm not going to say.
Mike, just going back to the problem, I'm sure you know the problem with Ted is filed suit and one bill work. You work
On Restorhaus,
Yes.
the company that originally we had a claim against.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, number 15, jail report. The year report of Potter County Detention Center. We have 549 citizens in our jail today. 92 of those are females. We have 0 of those in children. 83% of them are felons and 9% are misdemeanors. Do we have any insurance items today?
Yes, we have 2 that we're working the pending on. There was one, facilities maintenance had one, and then there was one in the sheriff's office that we're pending. It doesn't seem to be something that we're gonna have to be liable for, but we are still working on it.
All right, no executive session today. Agenda items for next time. I have 2 things I want to talk about. One, we did get the amount on the unclaimed credits. That came through. That's $3,594.49.
How much was that?
$3,594.49. So next time we'll have something on the agenda to allocate where that's going to go. I guess I only had one thing. The baseball stadium was my second one, so we're going to talk about that next time.
I'd like to have an item on the agenda next time for the county assistance district.
Oh, yes.
The what? The county assistance, is it a program, county assistant program or district? District, yeah. Okay.
And, not to beat a dead horse here, but, I know Jim was, mentioning some, interesting things after we voted on the interlocal agreement. That might be a merit to listen to discuss. So I'd like to see maybe if you can get those committees back together and get those heads talking together, bring that back to the
So put the interlocal with CSCD.
Right. So I heard some things after the vote that I wanted, but I'm still concerned with that will.
Okay. Okay, so that's all. We are adjourned.